We are starting. Welcome everyone to this EEA and Norway grants event, Energy and Innovation, Green Opportunities in Bulgaria and Romania. We are ready to start, and to introduce myself, my name is Rannveig Solnesmoen Gimse, and I will be the moderator during this day one of our two-day event. So we are happy to see that people are logging on to the event, and that the number of attendees is increasing. The Innovation Norway team, Innovation Norway EEA and Norway grants team is happy to welcome you. This is a large event for us. The Energy and Innovation Green Opportunities is a two-day event, and we are starting our first day. We will be very happy to talk to you about the many calls for project proposals that are open in both Romania and in Bulgaria on energy and on innovation and on different topics within those fields. Today, we will focus on giving you information about the programs that Innovation Norway operates in Romania and Bulgaria. Innovation Norway is the fund operator of 3 EEA and Norway grants programs in these countries. There is one on business development, innovation and SMEs in Romania, one on business development, innovation and SMEs in Bulgaria, and then there's another program in Romania on energy. And all of these 3 programs have open calls for project proposals available now. So there are plenty of green opportunities for those interested in these programs. So we are happy to welcome today both participants at this event from Bulgaria and from Romania. Hopefully these are different entities and actors who are interested in exploring the opportunities and in applying for the open calls that we will hear about. And we're also excited to welcome the entities and actors from Norway and Iceland and Liechtenstein, who are the donor countries of the EEA and Norway grants, and who can participate in their projects as partners. So to go a little bit through the agenda, which I think everyone have seen, we are opening day one now, and it will focus on presenting, it has 2 parts actually, and the first one is green opportunities on green industry innovation. The second part of the day is dedicated to green opportunities within energy. And tomorrow we will focus on the opportunities for bilateral cooperation. To start the day, we will start with green industry innovation. And I am pleased to welcome our first speaker, who is Mr. Magnar Ødelien, Director of the EEA and Norway grants at Innovation Norway. Magnar, please.
Thank you very much, Rannveig. I'll try to share my screen. That will hopefully work. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Great. As Rannveig said, my name is Magnar Ødelien. I'm the Program Director for EEA Norway Grants in Innovation Norway. During the day, you will hear a lot of specific information about the opportunities within the programs operated by Innovation Norway. So I will just start with a rather general overview on how the business programs financed by EEA Norway grants contributes to the greening of the European economy, because that is an important part of the green concept, as we call it, green industry innovation. So I will be very brief because I only have a few minutes, but I will start with the objectives of EEA Norway grants. Perhaps most of you know something about EEA Norway grants. That is the contribution from the 3 donor states mentioned by Rannveig, Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein. And it's a contribution to the reducing of economic and social disparities within the European Economic Area, because as most of you probably know, the 3 countries mentioned are not members of the European Union, but we are closely connected to the European Union through the agreement on the European Economic Area. So we are, for all practical purposes, part of the internal market, and that's also why the 3 countries contributes to then the development within the European Union, kind of in the same way as the structural funds. So that is the one objective, but the second objective, and that is important also for this event, that is to strengthen the relations between Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein and the beneficiary countries. So we are now in the program period that formally is called 2014-2021. It doesn't mean that this will end this year, because the projects will be implemented all the way until the spring 2024. The total allocation of money is 2.8 billion euros, so it's a considerable amount to programs in 15 countries. And approximately 400 million euros are allocated to business programs. And we will then hear about the business programs in Romania and Bulgaria during the day. But what's important is that all the business programs financed by EEA Norway grants, they have a green profile. They are contributing to the greening of the economy and development of green technologies. All of them have this component already mentioned, green industry innovation. So that is then the platform for then what we will discuss today, or what you will get information about. But of course, the business programs, they have a result framework that also is complementary to other programs, for instance, energy programs that we'll also hear more about today, and also environment program. So they are kind of overlapping to some extent as well, because it's important objective within the business programs, for instance, also to contribute to the reduce CO2 emissions and so on. And of course, the overall thing is then sustainability, but this then the business contribution to sustainability. So that will be to then create value creation for enterprises and its customers, but then building on the triple helix thing: economy, environment, and social factors. So it's important for the business program to contribute to the economic development of companies, but of course also to contribute to a better environmental performance of companies, and also to secure social sustainability, for instance, by creating jobs. If we look at the drivers for sustainable society, then you can see that the business programs contributes kind of to all the main drivers for sustainable society. That the new technology, yes, the programs finance projects that will develop green technologies. They also finance what could be considered to be new business models. For instance, the trend that you don't need to own something anymore. You can offer things as a service instead of purchase. And you have also the social innovation contributing to solve social challenges and at the same time make money as a company. That is, of course, then also the philosophy behind the sustainable development goals, that you will solve societal challenges at the same time as you develop your companies. And of course, the effective resource use, that would be improvement of production processes and so on. So this is a rather nice slogan for the business programs. It is good for business and good for the environment. That will be what we are looking for when we are selecting projects to fund, that they are both good for the business, value creation for the business, and good for the environment. That would be that they will also meet some environmental indicators. So it's a combination that is important. So what kind of green projects are supported? You will hear much more about that when you get the specific information about the two programs. But in general, they will support innovation projects. That would be development of new technologies, research and development projects. but it would also be greening of new or existing enterprises. That will be investment aid to improve the production processes or to increase also the production capacity of companies in a way that also is contributing to the greening of the company. And then also entrepreneurship. You will hear later today about some interesting call for proposals for startups. So entrepreneurship is also an important part of the EEA Norway grants. So it's then important to look at kind of the distinction between what's green and what's greening. We would like to see, of course, develop of green technologies. That is for sure. But we also like to see projects that are greening of, for instance, production processes that never will be completely green, but they could be then greener than the alternative. So that is kind of the two types of projects that will be financed by the two programs that you will hear more about today. And it's actually also then the types of projects financed by the other business programs financed by EEA and Norway grants. So I will then just wish you best of luck for the rest of the day and also for tomorrow. For hopefully many of you will take part in the bilateral discussions tomorrow, and that is the most important things to facilitate and the cooperation between companies in Romania and Bulgaria and potential partners then in Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. So thank you very much and best of luck.
Thank you very much, Magnar, for your presentation and introduction to these green opportunities. I have, as some of you have discovered, we have a Q&A session in this event. It is open, and you find it via one of the buttons to your top right on your screen. Here you can ask questions to our colleagues here. They will reply to you either in writing and or at the end of part 1 of this event, which is the questions and answers sessions that starts after the presentations. But before that, I will welcome the first of the presentations of an open call for proposals. It's my colleague Daniela. Daniela Chifan is program responsible for Bulgaria and Romania at Innovation Norway. And Daniela, you are ready? Here you go. You have the floor.
Thank you, Ranvai. Yes. Hi, I'm Daniela Chifan. I'm Senior Advisor and part of the Innovation Norway's team Bucharest office. And I'm pleased to present information about the open calls for project proposals within the business programs that are managed by Innovation Norway in Bulgaria and Romania. Business programs managed by Innovation Norway in Bulgaria and Romania are aiming to increase value creation and sustainable growth in business sector. The programs target several areas. For Bulgaria, focus areas are green industry innovation and welfare technologies. And for Romania, we are targeting blue growth, ICT, and green industry innovation. Taking into account that the theme of this event is green opportunities, in the next minutes, I will present information about the open calls for projects which regard the green industry innovation focus area in both countries, Bulgaria and Romania. We have a small grant scheme for Bulgarian business community, a grant size ranging from 50,000 euros to 200,000 euros. The deadline for this scheme is 24th of June this year. This scheme is launched under the financial mechanism called Norway Grants. For Romania, we have a scheme of individual projects with a value of grants between 200,000 euros and 2 million euros, with a deadline for project submission set for September 15. And we have also opened a scheme for small projects with a deadline set for September 22nd this year. These two schemes are launched under the financial mechanism called EA grants. In the next slide, you'll see some information about the eligible applicants. So, yes, thank you. For the small grant scheme in Bulgaria, eligible applicants are SMEs, small or medium-sized enterprises, established for at least 3 years in Bulgaria and registered under the Bulgarian Commercial Act. For the scheme of individual projects in Romania, private companies established for at least 3 years in Romania can submit projects. Regarding the small grant scheme, in addition to the category of the applicants mentioned for the individual project scheme, we could also add the non-governmental organization established for at least 3 years in Romania. An important element that I would like to emphasize is that all initiatives should lead to an increase in operating profit and turnover for the applicant, including NGOs. In other words, the project should increase the competitiveness of the applicant, and therefore pure social environmental protection initiatives proposed by NGOs will not be eligible for funds within our schemes. Who can apply? Yeah. And then what type of partners the applicant should be looking for? They can be any kind of legal entity from Norway or Bulgaria in case of the financing scheme in Bulgaria, and entities from Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein, or Romania in case of financing schemes opened in Romania. In order to be assessed as partner, the entity needs to undertake action and to deliver results in the project. The partner should bring its unique contribution to the project and should bring its input to activities that allows the applicant to achieve the mandatory expected outcome after project implementation. As regards the eligible activities, there is a list of activities in each call text, and this list comprises three main categories of activities. And these are development, implementation, and investment in innovative, environmental friendly technologies, development of green products and services, development of implementation and implementation of greener production processes. All economic sectors can be supported depending on the type of the state aid to be accessed. It is mandatory that the projects have a green element, as Magnar mentioned. In other words, they should contribute to the reduction of the environmental footprint of the Bulgarian or Romanian enterprise that applies for funds. Our call text include a list of state aids that could be awarded by Innovation Norway in line with the European Commission regulations, Regulation 651. The main type of state aid that have been awarded so far are regional aid and research and development aid. The first category has different grant intensity depending on the region where the project will be located. And in our assessment, we use a regional map for the respective country in order to determine the maximum aid intensity. However, I would like to underline that the project grant rate will depend on the type of the state aid awarded, the size of the applicant entity, profitability of the project, general financing standing of the applicant, and other elements in the provisions of the regulation, which was mentioned, 651, which are relevant for the respective projects. As regards the project assessment, this includes administrative and eligibility check, technical and financial assessment. This will be made based on the assessment methodology, which is published on our website, and assessment criteria. There are administrative and eligibility criteria, and of course, technical and financial criteria. One element which I would like to stress out during this presentation is that the eligibility check, which is made internally by Innovation Norway's team, is using a results orientation approach. As you can see from the slide, the project activities are assessed as eligible if they directly contribute to the achieving of the project outputs, outcome, and help to reach the program objective. Program objective is, of course, increase value creation and sustainable growth. As regards mandatory attachments, those enterprises interested in applying for funds should also pay attention to these documents that must be submitted together with the project application. For the documents listed in this slide, there are some documents which are underlined, and those documents can be, for those documents, you can access the templates by simply clicking on the respective title of the document. Also, our website includes documents which are meant to help the applicants and partners during the project preparation phase. I would very much advise the applicants to read the documents, especially the guidelines for detailed budget and financial forecast. It comprises information that could help them preparing a good quality application. In the next slide, we included some tips for a good preparation of the project. Again, we strongly recommend the applicants to take sufficient time to read the documents, the information on the website, and to allocate enough resources in order to prepare the projects, whether these are investment projects or experimental development projects. For those interested in establishing partnerships, please do not hesitate to use our resources available on the website under the section called Find a Partner. And of course, tomorrow we will have the matchmaking event organized. So this would be, again, one great opportunity where you could discuss about potential partnerships with entities from other countries. Next slide, yes. Here I included, no, yes, this one, no one before. It's about the website. There is a section in our website called Call for Proposals. In these sections, the links to all open calls are available. So each call has a web page from where you could access all the documents, the call text, templates for mandatory attachments, and the guidelines. I would like to point out that everything, all the information could be found on our website, and we also have a help desk organized. So in case you have questions regarding the financing conditions, project preparations, and so on, you could contact us using the contact details that are published in the call text for each grant scheme that is launched, and the contact details which are also found on our website. That's all from my side. Thank you for your time. I wish you good luck in preparing project applications, and also good luck to the companies that registered for the matchmaking event that will take place tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniela. And I assume that there are questions coming in the Q&A. Let's see. So now we have our next speakers. This is Karlin Marinov and Venceslava Jančovska, who are program officers at Innovation Norway, and who will present the upcoming startup calls for projects on green industry innovation in Bulgaria and Romania. So, Karlin, are you ready to go?
Yes, hello.
Hello, I give you the floor. Thanks.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here today and to present to you the next calls that are coming under the programs in Bulgaria and Romania. As you know, and as you see, the calls for startups are still not launched, so don't worry, the time for preparing your application is not running, so you have enough time to prepare yourself. We decided to briefly present you what is coming, just to have an idea on and to plan your time in the coming months. So we are planning to launch those calls in the next few weeks. And now it's a brief teaser for what is coming and how to plan your activities and your applications. So basically, we are planning to launch those two calls for Bulgaria and Romania almost in parallel or in a couple of days of difference. So the applicants, this is valid for both applicants from Bulgaria and Romania, that the calls will be running at the same time. So pay attention also to this. In my presentation, I have made some comparisons between the two calls, just to know what to expect from for the call for one country and the other one. We are not expecting any serious modification of the call text, but still we have some final touches to do on them. What could you explain? What could you expect from our calls? If you have been engaged in the programs till the moment, be aware that the application package will be significantly simplified. So you'll not be engaged to fill so much documents and in different formats and to provide us with much information, as we are expecting various applications and from different kinds of applicants, being a startup company. That is the reason why we are putting a bit more emphasis on the second part of the application process, which is after the initial screening of the application. We will contact those that are shortlisted and request from them different information which is relevant to the assessment process. So in general, the evaluation is expected to be also significantly shorter than the one that you have used to. So we'll try to do that in 2 or 3 months. As you know, we'll keep the practice that we have also for the other calls for the registered companies for more than 3 years, that we are contacting the companies. If the situation is allowing, we will have site visits on the production premises of those companies. But in this case, as it is more relevant for the startups which are still entering into operations, so we will for sure organize digital meetings with the candidates that are shortlisted and that are to be considered for funding. So we will establish a very close contact with those applicants and try to make it as close as it is possible to the events for startups that are organized by business angels, and in order the candidates to be able to present in the best possible manner their ideas, not only through the documents that we read. Some concrete points that you should know when you're preparing your application for these calls, as in our other calls. Just if you can return again the previous slide, please. So one of the things that you should have in mind is that that the partnerships are also very much recommended, the donor partnerships, but they are not a condition to be funded and to be supported. So don't include partnership artificially, and try to make them really contribute to the project idea. The activities that will be funded will be R&D activities, development activities, and investment activities. Pay attention to the fact that the R&D activities that will be eligible will be from technological readiness level 5 up to 8. So no activities will be supported that are not completed for example are only at TRL level 6 or 7, so it should be the whole process. Next slide. So this information that I mentioned is relevant for both codes. Now some comparison between the two codes, just to have an idea in more details what to expect. So in Bulgaria, the overall budget will be 2 million euro, and in Romania, 1 million. In Bulgaria, we have two focus areas. One of them is it's a specific one for Bulgaria. It's welfare technology. It's not relevant for Romania. Otherwise, in Romania, we have also Blue Growth and ICT added to the green industry innovation. You can see in the case of Bulgaria what is the separation of the budget between the two focus areas. Below are the grant support thresholds, so you can see what is the threshold for different for the two countries. These thresholds, they're related to the conditions in the different countries and some country specifics. The eligible candidates that can apply are those that are registered at least 6 months before the deadline and not more than 4 years before the deadline. Also pay attention that the donor partnerships in the case of Bulgaria, as the program is supported only via the Norway grants, should be from Norway. And in the case of Romania, it's the 3 countries, Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway. Next slide, please. Again, some comparison between the two countries. The grant rates for both of the countries, it would be the maximum grant rate would be 85%, and the applicable state aid regime would be General Bulk Exemption Regulation and Article 22. In only some exceptional cases we will not that much accept the MIS, but propose to the applicants to use this. So my proposal here would be to work mainly under Article 22. Eligibility of the cost, this is a deadline which should be respected for both countries and for both codes. It's October 21st of 2023. And some brief explanation what kind of costs will be eligible. Of course, in the code text, they will be described in much more details, and of course you can ask us follow-up questions after the course is launched, what could be included, but basically these are enumeration costs which are related with R&D and management, purchase of new or second-hand equipment, cost for consumables and supplies, cost for intangible assets, cost for consultancy, and of course, as it is the cost related to startups. It is very much possible that the companies would not be registered to be excluded for paying value-added tax. So this cost will be also eligible in case the companies are not registered under to pay value-added tax. Next slide, please. So briefly, this is how we see the launching of the co and what to expect in the next year or so. So the co will be launched in the next few weeks. Then the deadline is expected to be probably at the end of Q3 this year, and or in the beginning of Q4. During this time, you have a lot of opportunities to ask us questions and to learn more about the calls, as we are planning different promotional events in the two countries. So don't worry, you're just on time for these two calls. And afterwards, we'll have the assessment and the projects. We hope that the projects will start probably, if not the end of this year, but the beginning of the next year. So this was all from my side for now, and see you later during the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you for that. And as Colin said, you will see him during the Q&A session, which will be a good opportunity to learn more. We are excited now for our next speaker on the agenda, who is Maria Desmirea from Promateris. And this is an example of a project that has been funded under the EEA and Norway grants programs. And Maria, I will give you the floor straight away. Ready?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Can hear you very well.
Yes, great. Well, hello everyone. Thank you very much for offering us the opportunity to share with such a numerous crowd our project. The project that we developed together with a Norwegian partner. It's called BioBag. And we also had a great chance of being awarded a grant by the Iceland, Liechtenstein and Norwegian grants. The project is called Green Europe, and we wanted to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products, mostly bags and packaging. You can go to the next slide, please. I would like to tell you about a bit about our company and about our partners. So Promateris is one of the big manufacturers in Romania. It's a company with more than 60 years who recently went to a change of philosophy in terms of what we are producing. So we were a plastic manufacturer, and we decided to start producing and making products that are having a lower impact on the environment. And in the same time, we were lacking the knowledge, and we were lacking the market, the knowledge in terms of manufacturing the innovative products, and also in terms of how to market them and to sell them to a European market, not only to Romania. And this is where our partner gets in the scene. It's BioBag. It's one of the companies that is very well known worldwide for offering biodegradable and compostable products, mostly bin liners used for bio-waste separation, which helps and has a great impact on the environment, instead in terms of diverting like the trash from the landfills in order to be composted. How did we, because this is one of the main questions, the questions that we recently received, how did we find this partner? And I have to tell you that we were very lucky in order to find them. So like everything nowadays, we found them on the internet, and not on a dating app, but rather on a Google search. So we were trying to find someone who can actually bring value to our project. And we saw them, we emailed them, and we had the luck for them to be very, very open. And they were actually, it was a perfect match because we were in need of know-how, and they were in need of actually production capacity in order for them to manufacture their products. And this is mostly about the cooperation between the two parties. We can go on to the next slide, please. So our aim was first the cooperation between the two countries and expanding on new markets for both of our pro materies in order to address Central and the Norwegian, the Scandinavian countries, and for them in order to have an access to the Southeastern European markets. What we wanted to offer were products that had a lower environmental impact, and precisely we developed together in this project the light carrier bags that you see in in supermarkets, in retailers like Carrefour or other ones, the ones that you, when you're at the cashier and you want to pay, those used to be made from plastic, and now they are made from bio-based resources like cornstarch derived from the starch derived from corn. And different forms of compostable films, for example, the liners used in diapers. That's usually in order to seal the product. It's a very thin film that is usually from plastic, and we managed to do that from biodegradable materials, and also products for agriculture such as mulching film. And the second category of products that we started producing, and we did a bit of the transfer know-how, especially for the marine biodegradable products, which are made from a compound called PHA, which is very innovative on the market. The price point is still a bit high for that, but we are very optimistic that it's going to be highly adopted in the market at a larger scale in the future. Next slide, please. So as I was telling you earlier, on the left you can see the raw materials, from which are some small granules made from cornstarch, and they are blended with natural biopolymers. And on the right side you can see what we are doing. So basically we are getting the raw materials and transforming them, converting them into products such as bin liners or different types of bags. Okay, next slide, please. Why we considered this to be a very important project, and why we thought of it to be a successful project. So first, there were, at the moment when we launched the project in 2019, there were no local manufacturers for this project. So there was an increased dependency on regional manufacturers and imports. Obviously, this was leading to a decreased competitiveness on the market for the local producers, and we also saw an increased demand for products that are an alternative to plastic. As you can know now, there is a huge movement that is very anti-plastic, and everyone is trying to innovate and to find solutions that are a step forward to a more sustainable way of consuming. And of course, the favorable legislation. We can move forward. Our target groups were the retailers, so like big supermarket chains, but also traditional commerce, farmers, for what I told you before about the mulching film, which is a product destined for the agricultural use, and then industrial manufacturers as well. We also, I think it's very important, if you are planning to submit a proposal for this call, I think it's very important to know to have a business plan in which you can clearly map the results on a timeline, and you know for sure what you want to achieve. For us, it was very important. First thing you're going to see here, I'm not going to go through all of them one by one, but I think for us, one of the main things is the green component of the project. So just as an example, we decided to, based on our predictions, we decided to renounce the polyethylene production, and to obviously renounce some of our clients in order to make our products more sustainable. And so we switched to bio-based, and we decided to produce that instead of the traditional plastic product. And you can see here, of course, growth in turnover, like profit. We registered, we submitted the documents for registering a new trademark for a marine biodegradable line of products. We are very proud of this. Through this project, we bought an equipment that allowed us to recycle everything, like the technological technological waste that we used to have in our production, and that has an impact, an economic impact, but also even more important, environmental impact. And now we are recycling everything, and we have no technological waste in our manufacturing. We can move on. On the right, you can see some of the equipments that we acquired throughout the project. This was the activity number 2. As you can see, I listed all our activities and what how we envisioned the project. So we bought 6 equipments. Our main top of mind, like recruiting for the equipments, for the acquisition of them, was to be very energetically efficient and to be a last generation equipments, very highly automatized, which also allowed us to employ women in order to handle the equipment and to make the working environment as friendly as possible to our employees. We also had an activity of course, auditing the product, and we put a great emphasis on the publicity part of it. We had interviews and articles and social media posts and online promotion for most of our actions in the product, and I think that also helped us a lot in diversifying our clients' portfolio and to make this project a success. Activity number 3 is the training that we did to all our employees in order to use this equipment, and also in order to manufacture the new products. And activity 4 is mostly the activity that we did together with our partner, the know-how transfer and the management of the project. Yeah, you can. Here is a very brief project overview. So in total, we had the project budget of more than 2.5 million euros, of which the grant were 950,000 euros, which leads us to an intensity grant of almost 37%. I have to say that I think this is the end of the presentation, but I would still like to add something. So we are a Romanian company, which is very ambitious, and we're trying to do a lot of new projects. We have a lot of ideas, and we need capital in order for us to be able to do this. And this is a great opportunity that we've been offered. We've also tried to apply for other types of grants, and we weren't that successful because they are very bureaucratic. And I have to tell you that this is one of the greatest collaborations we had until now. I mean, the communication with the team was extremely good. And in case especially now during the pandemics, obviously some things needed to be updated and changed in the project, and we worked together in order to fit all these modifications and updates, and in order for us not to have an impact on the project outcomes. And I have to tell you that it's been like more like an entrepreneurial collaboration with the team from Innovation Norway, rather than some state bureaucracy like supervision authority. And I strongly, and most importantly, we didn't hire any kind of consultant in order for us to write the project. We wrote everything by ourselves, and we were very clumsy at first, but after we submitted the draft, we did some revisions in the second and part of the evaluations, and where they needed some clarifications, and we understood, and we had all the support that we needed. So I strongly encourage you to apply for this type of grants in case you have a business idea and you don't have like all the budget for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Maria. for an excellent presentation and nice words. It's also good for us to hear how you understand the cooperation with Innovation Norway.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everyone can also read more about this project on Innovation Norway's websites if you are interested. And now this takes us to our questions and answers session. We see that a lot of questions have come in the Q&A, and we have colleagues ready to look at these questions and reply to them. So I will give the floor to Athena.
Thank you, Ranveig.
Ask of questions.
Okay, I hope everyone can hear me well. Thank you. Indeed, we have a lot of questions. We have received a lot of questions, and it seems that the participants are very interested in our funds. Some of the questions have been already published and replied, but we have kept some of the most interesting questions to be addressed during this Q&A session. One of the questions has been addressed by Mrs. Nelia Kazaku. Large companies are eligible for financing under this call for proposal. Are replacement eligible for financing in order to make the production greener? Actually, we have here two questions, and maybe Dana would like to answer to this question.
Yes, thank you, Athena. Large enterprises. For the Romanian calls, yes, large enterprises are eligible for funds within the individual project scheme. As regards the second question, was about the replacement.
Replacement,
yeah.
Yes.
Simple replacement of equipment does not mean that the project is eligible. The respective investment is eligible. In case you propose an investment project and you ask for regional aid, then the project should fit in the initial investment definition, which means that your project should be about either diversification of production or increasing the capacity, the production capacity, or you are aiming to green your production and to make a fundamental change in your production processes. So you need to link this acquisition, this investment, to one of these cases. In case we are talking about of a diversification or increase in capacity production, then this project idea might be eligible. And of course, don't forget about the two main indicators, economic indicators, which are operating profit, increase in operating profit, and the increase in turnover. So the investment should, in the end, lead to this increase. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana, also for your detailed answer. We have a more general question from Mrs. Simona Faurescu, asking if we have a list of the companies that can be eligible according to the NACE code.
Yes, there is no list regarding this NACE code. So basically, as I mentioned during my presentation, all economic sectors might be eligible for funds in line, depending on the type of the state aid that the company is accessing. In case you would like to access regional aid, then there are several economic activities that are not financed within the regional aid. But these economic activities might be financed within the research and development aid. So it's important first to decide which type of state aid you'd like to access, and then to read the exact article from the regulation 651 and see if your economic sector is eligible for the respective state aid.
Thank you, Dana. Another question related to how green the project should be. We have received this question from Mrs. Florentina Negoiță, and she is asking how will be evaluated a full green project versus a partial one? Will earn more points a full green project?
This is also for me.
Yes, and then we will take the startup related questions.
Okay. Thank you, Atena. How green? If you read the call text, our call text, you'll see over there that there are some indicators, green indicators that need to be taken into account. And one of the mandatory conditions for our call text, our GII, Green Industry Innovation Call text, is that you should choose at least one green indicators in order to measure the green effect of the project during the implementation period. So please take a look in the call text, read the list of indicators, and think of your investment, if it is a project investment, and assess whether the investment will contribute to at least one green indicator from the indicators listed in the call text. Yeah, and I would also like to underline that there is a mandatory attachment which is called expected outcome and outputs annex, and over there you'll see also a conversion guideline. So there is some guidance on our website regarding how to express your the effect, the green effect of the project in terms of indicators. So I think this would be a good starting point for you to think whether your project is green or not.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. I hope these answers are helping our potential applicants for the future projects. And also, we would like to address some questions related to the startup call. And for this, I will give the floor to our startup master today, Kalin. Please.
Thank you. So I saw some of the questions. Probably not all of them will be answered now, but please have in mind that later on, when the call is published, you have the opportunity to ask again the questions via the email, which will be provided explicitly for this call. So some of the questions that I saw is actually when the startup should be registered. You probably know that under different EU-funded programs understandings, the startups are considered to be those that are registered mainly in the last 3 years, or in some cases 5. But in our case, the eligible candidate should be registered at least 6 months before the deadline of the call. So when you have the date for the deadline, when the call is published, so you should count 6 months backwards, and 4 years is the maximum. 4 years is the maximum of the registration. So this is the timelines for the eligible candidates when to be registered. Another question that I saw for the startup call, this is actually the eligible state aid regulation. So the Article 22, it is under the General Work Exemption Regulation, which is 651 from 2014. This is the European the regulation from the European Commission, and also in some cases, you know that our approach will be similar as in other calls. When we have partnership projects, in some cases it is eligible that the partners could also contribute to the co-funding and to have some benefits. In this case, the state aid regimes will be, of course, different, as the partners that could be attracted, they could be from both. They can be actually non-government organizations, they can be also research organizations, they could be other companies, they could be startups, they could be well-established companies with long history. So in this respect, no constraints for the companies, for the startups to choose their partners. Briefly, this is the information that I can see at this stage for the startup call.
Thank you, Kalin. If we have addressed the relevant question for the startup call, we still have some questions related to the business call. We have a question received from Mrs. Anelia Pergot, and she is asking if the proposal can cover 2 or 3 types of screen technology and products, technology and processes, and if is marketing funded. If Venka or Daniela would like to reply for this question.
I can.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dana. Yes, I think it's possible to have a combination of technology and green product in the same project, and marketing activities will not be funded.
Thank you. I think we have addressed the majority of the questions, both in writing or during this live session. If some questions have not been addressed, you will receive an email related to your question. You can still write some question in the Q&A session, and we will send you a reply. Thank you. Ranveig?
Sorry about that. Hello. Okay. So it will, that was our Q&A session, and thank you everyone for contributing, both participants at this event and our colleagues. We will now have another project example before we end this event. So I would like to welcome, I think he is here now, Mr. Jordan Boshkov, who has implemented a project under the EEA and Norway grants. Mr. Jordan Boshkov is the production manager from Plast Commerce. Are you here? Sometimes people are muted. So if you unmute yourself, Jordan, we will hear you. Okay. Okay, there have been some technical difficulties. So I think here you are.
Okay, sorry about that. We have some technical difficulties. I couldn't log in. So
that happens.
Hello. That happens. Okay. Hello to everybody. My name is Jordan Boshkov, and I'm presenting a small project that we did with Innovation Norway in 2017. It was a few years ago. First, I want to thank you for the invitation, of course, to present our small project. A few words about our company. We are a plastic manufacturing company. We are dealing with PVC materials. We are recycling a lot of PVC, as well as we have compounders, and we are also compounding from rigid materials. About our project, I wanted to have to say about a little story that we had when we wanted to apply for funding for Norway grants. Because this is actually the first project that we made with other fundings and with other authorities like Innovation Norway. We had been applying for European funding for a long time. Maybe we tried 4 or 5 projects to apply for. And all then we were dealing with consulting companies that were doing the project for us. We were paying, they were doing the project, but we never got any funding or any project approvals. So I've heard about the Innovation Norway program, and when I heard about it,
I think you fell out, Ødelien. Okay, well that was kind of a cliffhanger. I think that was a poor connection, and it's a cliffhanger, exciting. We would have loved to hear more about this project, but I think we will do it later, maybe tomorrow instead, if that is okay.
Do you hear me now? The connection dropped.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know where my story ended about the connection, but as I was saying, we were applying for a lot of EU funds and with now no results. And the consultant companies that we asked about, we said, could you help us to do some projects with Innovation Norway? And all the answers we got actually from 3 companies was, oh, don't bother doing any project for them. It's very difficult. We think it's a scheme because none of our clients has ever had any projects with them, and so on and so on. So, but I decided I'll check it out myself, and with my colleagues we decided to check it out. So we did it like that, and we actually saw that it's a very, very easy format, and we had an idea about the project. We saw that there is a partnership opportunity, so we took it as well, and we wrote the project in-house with me and my colleagues, and actually we got approval, and we managed to realize to our project. So what was the project about? The project name was Improvement of the Production Processes in Plus Commerce 93 for Sustainable Behavior. What we did in the project, we had a partner from Norway. Our partner were a company called Norsk Energy. We actually found them on the list, on the website from Innovation Norway, from partners. So the idea of our project is because in our factory we have all of our machinery is really outdated and energy consuming, and the machines are producing a lot of bad material that we need to recycle again to the process. We have the process is fully recyclable. So the idea about the project is to have some improvement about the energy efficiency in our company. There, the company Norsk Energy came. When we were discussing about the project with them to start the project, they were giving us ideas how to start doing that. And we made a list of the machines and the processes in the company that need to be renewed. So we made it together with them, and we found out the process which we need to be which will have most benefit if we renew it. So we started writing our project. The machine that we bought and that they said that it needs to be renewed was a PVC dry hot cold mixer. Very innovative. It's a new one, very efficient. That helped us a lot during the years since we implemented the project. Of course, the cooperation and the project. Oh, sorry, I missed myself a little bit.
So this is something you would recommend to apply for a project with together with a partner.
The partners in this project helped us a lot because they helped us shape the whole vision of the project. They helped us choose which machinery needs to be most renewed, and they helped us do the whole energy efficient audit to which we are sticking still. Because back in the day when we were doing the project, the ISO 5001 was really, it was a new ISO standard. And we were really far from reaching that. And with the help of the energy audit that Norsk Energy did, we were able 3 years after that to implement that ISO 5001, actually 50,001, sorry. We were able to implement that, that to our company. So the other thing with this project is that we gained a lot of competitiveness within here Bulgarian companies and abroad, because we are now making a very quality materials and quality granules thanks to that. And this actually helped us really overcome the pandemic measures, because when the borders and the trades with outside companies, which are our main competitors, companies from outside Bulgaria, and all of the companies, most of them actually, not all of them, that were using PVC granules started calling us, and this is what helped us overcome the pandemic around. It was a great opportunity for us to work with Norway grants, because this was really, in the beginning, as when I started, this was the first project that we managed to do for funding project and with partners and so on. And since then, our motivation was a lot higher of doing different projects and different ideas, because since then the company's motivation and was not so high, let's say, because there were a lot of declines with all EU projects, and people were starting to lose hope. And this is was a very great opportunity for us. Since then, we have made one other EU project, and right now we are starting a new project with Innovation Norway again. It will start next month, I think. So we are very thankful for that. And about, I have some to say about other applicants. It's here with Innovation Norway. It's actually, I found it really easy to do a project, because you really, what you need is to have a good idea, and the space that you need to plan the idea is all in the applicant form. You can really, it's very easy. It's even to a person who never did project before, like myself and my colleagues, because we were new to that, to writing the project. Before that, we were all giving money to some consultancy companies, but with Innovation Norway, it's made so easy that you could really, with a little help from colleagues and friends, you could really make a great project like the one when we did. So, of course, our partners from Norsk Energy, they were really helpful as well, because when we said to them it's our first project, and they said, no worries, we have done a lot of projects before, we know all the stuff, and when we have questions about even for the applications or how we should do the project, they were always writing emails and Skyping us all the time with all the help that we could get from them, which was a great partnership to the project.
This is excellent. There are so many good points that you are making. We are very pleased to hear that you felt it was the EEA Norway grants was an okay scheme to apply for, even if you didn't have the long experience. So we will encourage, of course, everyone who follows us here today to use these opportunities, even if it is for the first time. And we are also very happy when an EEA Norway grants project can be scaled up or can continue into other projects or into sustainable cooperation with Norsk Energi or with another partner from Norway. This is very good. I will thank you off now, and thank you very much for joining us, even if it was only via the phone. It was very good to hear from you.
Thank you very much, and it was my pleasure.
Thanks. We can also send you a link with more information about this project from our websites later. We are also very happy to hear that they had a good and solid cooperation with the Norwegian partner. And for all of you, we are now ending our part 1 of day 1. We are ending the presentations on green industry innovation. Tomorrow, the day 2 of this event will focus on bilateral cooperation. So now you heard good examples about that. And if you are curious about how to find a partner in Norway, Iceland, or Liechtenstein, and how our partnership and cooperation can work, you should definitely log in tomorrow as well. But we will now have a break before we start part 2 of day 1, which is green opportunities on energy. For all of you interested in energy, please join us then. I should point out that the energy program under the Norway grants is in Romania. This is a separate link, so we have sent this to you as well. Thank you very much for everyone joining this event. You will receive, the event is being recorded, and you will receive replies to the questions that you might have not received a reply to yet. Thank you very much.